Thank you so much for coming on to the stream tonight. Shout out to Althea Marshall. Good evening to you. I'm so happy that you were able to make it tonight. Thank you, Althea. If you find value in any of the messages or streams that I have on any given Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday, feel free to share it. Feel free to share it, and I would appreciate that. But I do thank you that you're on tonight. We're going to get right into it tonight, folks. We're going to get right into it, to what we are talking about tonight. In just a few minutes, give me a second to do some housekeeping, and we'll be right into it. I trust that everyone has had a fantastic afternoon and now evening. That you had a great. I mean, we all had. Some of us had to go to work today, so I don't know how much to say about that, because we all got to go to work. So I don't know too many people that find it super exciting to have to go to work, but we do have to feed ourselves and we have to feed our families. So I trust that you all had a fantastic, positive, productive day, afternoon, and now evening. Trust that everyone's had a fantastic weekend as well. The weekend we just passed. Got to do a little something, to relax yourself, let your hair down, and enjoy yourself for the weekend. We don't get a lot of days on the weekend. That's the funny thing. They tell you it's the weekend, but we get off on Friday. For those of us that have to work, we get off on Friday, and the real only day we have that's really full, if you think about it, is Saturday, right? It's usually just Saturday, because Saturday night you have to go to sleep pretty much at the same time. Well, you might get a little bit extra hours, but Sunday night, forget it. Sunday doesn't even exist. Sunday is like a weekday, because you have to go to sleep at the normal time just so you can get up, fully rested by Monday morning, for those of you that work the day shift. So you know what I mean. But again, I trust that you had a pleasant weekend as best that you could. And with that being said, I thank you for getting on tonight. We have an interesting subject tonight. Situations versus relationships. And what I've found and what I've seen and discovered all too often is that more of you ladies are in situationships than you are relationships. The problem with a situationship is that it requires no commitment whatsoever. Whenever somebody says to you, I have a situation, automatically, the first thing that comes to mind is something negative, correct? That there's some kind of problem. If they say to you, listen, I got a situation, you automatically think that there must be a problem, right? I know I do. Every time I've ever heard that, when somebody said it to me, I automatically thought they had some kind of problem that they were about to experience, and they may have needed my my assistance, right? Okay. Well, some of you ladies tend to use two words. I'm going to focus only on one tonight, but there's two words that you use when posting your status, especially in your social media platforms. You tend to use two words. One, it's complicated when it comes to relationships. Number two, you tend to use, I'm in a situationship. So with that being said, let's get into it. Let's get into it. I want you ladies to listen with a critical ear tonight. Try not to allow yourselves to have the knee-jerk reaction of getting triggered simply because you hear something that you don't want to hear. Understand that myself, and nor anyone who's like me in these spaces that have these talking points, would dare waste their time. Not in the right spirit would they waste their time to have these kind of talking points if it came from a bad place. I'm passionate about seeing different outcomes in our community as it relates to relationships, black male-female relationships in particular. Although I want to see good outcomes for all relationships, but I'm a black man. So naturally, my priority is going to be to my community. So I want to see good outcomes for you, ladies, and I want to see good outcomes for us, those of us who are black men who desire you. So understand what place it's coming from. So that if you hear something I say and it triggers you, just relax. Say a few hoosahs, take a few deep breaths, and calm down. That way you'll really get the perspective from which I'm coming from. All right? So tonight's topic is situations versus relationships. Which one is real? Which one of these is real? Situationships or relationships? And what I want to start off by doing first is giving you an outline of what a situationship is, so that you know that if you are currently in what you think is a relationship, you're going to understand very clearly after we finish this stream tonight whether you need to pick up your shoes, pick up your bag, grab your coat, and walk away. All right? You're going to know what you need to do after this stream. A situationship, I'll start off by saying it right off the bat, is not, and I repeat, is not a relationship. Never has been, never will be. Let's get into it. What is a situationship? A situationship usually starts off with you meeting an individual, opposite sex. Now we're talking about heterosexual relationships. This is where I'm going with this stream. I only deal in heterosexual relationships. So let's go there. It starts off by you meeting a young man. For you ladies, you find yourselves attracted to one another. You start off with small conversation. The small conversation leads into you making plans to hook up at another time, at another location. It could be a date. It could be simply a cup of coffee. It starts off very simple. Those simple plans lead into more extended plans, such as let's go to the beach. Let's go here. Let's go there. Finally, you find yourselves booking a hotel room. The hotel room that you book usually you find yourself booking hotel rooms a lot. And the behavior from the beginning to the point you had to book the hotel room tends to repeat itself over and over and over. There's usually no deviation from how it started versus to how it ended in the hotel room. I want you to pay attention, because many of you are living in this kind of situation right now as I speak. And you're wondering, your body and your mind is filled with anxiety. You're trying to figure out where exactly is this relationship going? Where's this going? You find yourself, you know you're catching feelings in the relationship, but you're kind of suppressing the feelings because you're not sure exactly where the relationship's going, but you haven't asked the right questions. Let's continue. Then you go from the dates to the relationship to the small talk and the dinners or lunches to the hotel. You find yourself having a whole lot of sex. A whole lot of sex. And it's exciting during that period. It's very exciting. Until you find yourself, like I said, your emotions start to get involved. Once your emotions get involved, then you start to ask specific questions. I like to call it DTR. DTR would imply a conversation that would determine where this relationship is going. No, where's the direction of this relationship? Where exactly is this going? You know? And all too often, what you'll find out, if you're not in the right situation, how you'll know you're in a situationship is because usually the man he'll be very evasive. He'll be very vague, or he'll try to avoid the question altogether. He'll try to avoid the question. Some of you have already done this, and you know what I'm talking about. You find yourself in a relationship, you met a guy, he's attractive, you like him. Over time, you may have started out saying, you know what, I'm just going to have a good time. I'm just going to have fun. I'm not going to take it serious. I'm going to take it real slow. I'm not going to get serious. But over time, you're a woman. Your emotions tend to dictate something different than what you planned. Now you find yourself catching feelings, right? And you have this conversation that I just said. And then you find him all of a sudden, he's been funny, he's been fun, he's been showing you attention, you know, a lot of kissing, a lot of looking into each other's eyes, a lot of little short dinners and on the beach, walking the beach, holding hands, and a lot of sex and a lot of hotel reservations. But now you're asking him a question that puts him on the carpet to where he has to now come face to face with whatever his intentions are. Now this is where it gets serious. I mentioned in previous streams, I talked about some of you ladies get into relationships where you get a lot of drama. But it also comes accompanied with a lot of sexual bliss. And this is where the problem comes in a situationship. Because in a situationship, you got a lot of sexual bliss. But the only difference between what I've just mentioned and a situationship is that you're unsure. Now your body's filled with a whole bunch of anxiety. You can't go to sleep at night. You're having trouble going to sleep. You get off the phone with him and you're still not sure where he's going. You're with him on a day-to-day excursion and you're still not sure where he's going. Because he won't answer any question directly. He's kind of evading the question, or he's very vague about how he answers the question. So you're unsure about what this even is. You're very unsure, but you can't stop yourself. So then when he calls you and he tells you, I made reservations at this hotel or that hotel, you can't stop yourself from going. You still find yourself going. Why? I mean, after all, he's a good kisser, right? I mean, after all, he's a good, and I put a question mark there. This is social media. You know what I'm saying? He's a good everything except being good at giving you clarity about where this relationship is going. So where does it leave you? It leaves you emotionally distressed. Completely emotionally distressed. Here's the other sign that you're in a situationship. If you've been seeing someone for a significant amount of time, and usually situationships tend to last a very long period of time, but you never know what you can expect to hear from them or when you'll see them next. There's never any real clear date as to when you're going to see them next. There's no real consistency in that. I'm just giving you signs, ladies, of how you know if you're in a situationship, so that you don't get yourself tied up like a spider web, in a spider web of expectation with any man, and thinking that you have a future ahead in that situation. And then after this, what I want to do with you, I want to show you what a real relationship looks like, so you'll know exactly what you need or what you desire in terms of your expectation, so that you don't blow yourself out the water in expecting something and giving your body away to a dream that's not even real. Let's continue. No inconsistency is a clear red flag. A clear red flag in any encounter with as it comes to relationships. Keeping up with planned activities. and making time in their schedule to see you. If this is lacking in any kind of way with your current partner that you're dealing with right now, then you're probably not in a serious relationship. And I'm pretty sure you know that, because one thing I can tell you, that no matter what situation we find ourselves in, male or female, we start talking to ourselves. And what usually we say to ourselves is probably more than likely the truth. But we always think, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. And we hold out, right? Okay. Well, if you find yourself in a situation like this, ladies, and you can't get any consistency in terms of scheduling activities, time in their schedule, they're not sacrificing any time whatsoever in their schedule, they're canceling appointments with you constantly, okay, then you're probably not in a serious relationship. Okay? Consistency can also relate to their level of investment in you as it relates to you and him being in what's called a meaningful relationship. If he has no intent on staying with you, I can promise you, he's not going to have that conversation with you. When you're in a situationship, your partner may feel super hot at one point and then super cold at another. One minute, they might seem like they're totally invested or that they're interested in you. All right? And then the next, they may act as if they could take you or leave it. I know some of you ladies have experienced that. Some days he's very excited to see you. Some days he don't seem so excited. And what do? You ask him the question, what's wrong with you? And he's quiet. He's very quiet. He's very kind of emotionally detached. He's kind of there, but not there. It's almost like his mind is somewhere else. Okay, well, you're probably in a situationship. And it frustrates you because you can't get clarity. So what does it do for you? It builds you up with more anxiety and more anxiety, to where that night when you go home by yourself, you really can't sleep. You can't sleep at all. You'll lay up on your bed looking at your ceiling for hours until you fall asleep, because you're trying to figure out, what have I gotten myself into? Who is this guy? I like him. I care about him. My feelings are getting involved, but I'm being more transparent than he is about how I feel. I'm going to just stay with me, ladies. I'm going to show you how you did yourself a disservice when you say you want what you say you want in the men that you say you want, and how many of you find yourself at such a disadvantage today when we look in our community. Just stay with me. The inconsistency, the ups, the downs, the hots, the cold, right? All right. This lack of inconsistency, ladies, is an indication that they also don't know the terms of the relationship, which makes it a situationship. Defining the relationship from the very beginning. And ladies, let me tell you something. This is something you ladies don't do. You get into a relationship, you're attracted to the guy. Oh man, I like the way he looks. He's attractive. Oh man, he's buff. Right? He's tall. I like his package. You didn't really see his package, but you saw a little bulge between his legs, and you're like, I wonder what that's like. So you make your decisions based on your situations that you find yourselves in for the stupidest reasons. Now, mind you, physical attraction is very important. I'm not indicating that physical attraction alone and by itself is stupid. No, absolutely not. There's no one that we're with, male or female, that we were not attracted to physically first. It always starts with a sexual attraction, and that's okay. I mean, that's not something we're in charge of. God just made it that way. All right? But it still requires you to answer the necessary questions, because if you are going to be pair bonded with this person, you need to know why you're being pair bonded. which means for you ladies, you have to know what you're looking for. It can't be a bag. It can't be shoes. It can't be nails. It can't be makeup. It can't be anything materialistically. You have to know what you're looking for in the relationships in men that you seek. And it can't be this Hollywood version of what you can acquire from the men you seek based on their resources. It can't be that. Sex in and of itself is a byproduct to the relationship. It really is. It's a byproduct to the relationship, but it's not the essentials of the relationship that keeps the relationship alive. You have to have something more emotionally intangible, mentally intangible, that leads to a better outcome for you going forward once the lust stage is gone. So just follow me. Defining the relationship is what makes it a real relationship. If you don't do this, it leads to a lack of inconsistency. Follow me. No talk about the future. That's how you know you're in a situationship. In a situationship, partners tend to plan for the future. In a real relationship, those two individuals, they tend to talk and have conversations that lead to planning about the future. Together in some capacity, they do this. The plans don't necessarily have to be long-term, but they do involve some sort of future time frame, all right? Whether it's something to look forward to in a few weeks, a few months, or maybe in a year down the line, or a couple of years down the line. I wouldn't suggest a couple of years because you're wasting your time then in that effect. Let's talk about the future. Talking about the future can involve meeting the family. Some of you are in situations right now you've never met their family members. You've never met their family members, and you've brought it up multiple times, and they always seem to find a reason why they can't bring you around their family to meet their family members. The first time they say it, you're okay with that. The second time they say it, you're okay with that. Third time, you start to get a question mark in your head. After the fourth time, you start to think to yourself, they don't want to introduce me to their family members. And then from that point, you know they don't intend to stay with me. Let's talk about that. No talks about the future whatsoever. But they do involve some sort of future time frame as it relates to what they specifically want to do. Now, I am talking about you and your situationships so that you can think in your own mind, are you going through this? Whether it's something to look forward to in a few weeks, months, maybe even down the line. Let's talk about the future. Talking about the future, going to events together, or even talking about future logistics like, let's say, moving to get a pet or to buy a car, you know. A total absence of talk about the future is a sign that your partner, or who you're dealing with right now, ladies, has no idea of committing to you. It's a sign, a red flag, that you're in a situationship. If you try to bring up the future with your current partner or who you're dealing with right now, they dodge, again, like I said previously, they dodge the question or they give vague responses. All right? They say they aren't serious. If your partner says that they aren't serious or aren't looking for anything serious, now I know you've heard of this. If you've been in relationships where you've tried to bring up serious conversation, and then they indicate to you that, why are we trying to mess up what we have? Why aren't we just comfortable where we are? And I know some of you have heard this conversation. Why are we trying to rock the boat? Let's just be comfortable where we are. I mean, it's okay, let's relax, we got time. Many of you have heard this. If your partner or the person you're dating right now begins to have those kind of conversations, they're not serious. They're not looking for anything serious. Then you should take them at their word. Stop trying to think you can change their mind. Stop trying to think you can change their mind, ladies. It's going to create the bad outcomes that many of you are receiving right now. Stop trying to think that you can change their mind. Most of you think you can change their mind through sex. Bad news for you. You can't change their mind through sex. Even if it feels like you're doing, if you're doing things together and it feels like it's a date, if you feel like you have an emotional connection, if they say they don't want something serious, then they do not want something serious. Listen to people when they say this and recognizing that you are in a situationship, not a relationship, okay, will save you a lot of time, a lot of heartbreak down the line. And I'm going to say this to you. It's going to be difficult. It will be difficult to keep your feelings out of it when you feel if someone's words aren't aligning with their actions. But I'll tell you this, it is important to take people at face value and listen to them when they talk about the status of your relationship. Stop trying to make them what they're not. Now I'm going to go to relationships in and of itself. How can you avoid situationships versus relationships? A relationship is always going to be up close, personal, transparent, clear, decisive. A real relationship won't fill you with a whole bunch of anxiety. It won't fill you with a whole bunch of questions that you'll have to be dealing with in the middle of the night when you can't sleep. Okay? A whole bunch of, a real clear, sincere relationship will not give you those kind of emotional ups and downs and hang-ups. Not in the beginning. Think about it. If a real relationship is going to give you those kind of emotions, those ups and downs, those ebbs and flows, this is what comes with a long-term relationship. Imagine feeling those same insecurities, those same levels of anxiety, uncertainty about the relationship at the beginning. Imagine that. And then telling yourself that it's going somewhere. It's not. To my sad regret, what happens with a lot of ladies, you end up having these same emotional roller coasters. And you have them before you give birth to a child, which sets you up and puts you in a really bad position. But let's talk about it anyway. Let's talk about a real relationship. How do you know when it's healthy? How do you know when it's in your best interest? How do you know that? I'm glad you asked. Because you, ladies, and any of you who have watched my streams, you've heard me say two things. Men determine relationships and marriage. I'm gonna stop there, so I want you to absorb that. Men determine relationships and marriage, not situationships. You may accept situationships, but men determine relationships and marriage. You, ladies, determine access to your body and childbirth. And if that is true, and it is, I need you to really listen to me. If men determine relationships and marriage, and you determine access to your body and childbirth, how important do you think it is to know what you're looking for when you meet any man? Not simply a good time, not simply having a good time or going out on a date because you're bored at home and you're by yourself. I get it. I understand. You just want to get out the house. I get it. But you have too much to lose, ladies. You have too much to lose if having simply a good time is going to cost you emotionally, mentally, psychologically. If it's going to cost you, what's important that you know? It's important that you know if you want to be a wife. Very important. And it's important that you date with purpose. Your purpose has to be that you're dating men who are marriage minded. Anybody can get a hookup. Think about it. How hard is it to get a hookup? It's very easy. It's not hard, especially today, in today's modern time. It's very easy to get a hookup. So hook up with a young lady, hook up with a young man. You guys have a couple of hamburgers and hot dogs. You don't even have to spend a lot of money today. It don't take much, you know. Also, to my sad regret, with the legalization of marijuana, sometimes all you need is a blunt. Now you know that's sad. A blunt and a bag of Cheetos. And a lot of ladies are butt naked just because of that. Is that not sad? But for you that want more than that, so you can avoid situationships. What do you want? And you have to clarify in your own mind, what exactly do I want? Do I want to hook up? Is this date because I'm bored? I'm bored. I have nothing to do. I'm watching TV. I'm sitting here bored, eating my Cheetos and looking at Netflix, and I'm alone by myself on this couch, and let me make a phone call. Let me look through my Rolodex. Let me look through my friendship list. Let me see. Who can I call that'll come over and we can relax and watch a movie together? If that's what you're doing, you're setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up. Find out what you want and don't compromise on that. Don't compromise on the thing you want. If you want to be married, if you want to be in a committed relationship, if that's what you want, and you're tired of the hookups and the situationships, and you want a real relationship, then you have to get firm about the thing you want. Once you know what you want, and you're firm about what you want, and you're not compromising against what you want, then you'll attract the thing that you want. And I'm talking about in the most ideal situation. Because many of you ladies, truly, you've been so betrayed, so hurt, that many of you need therapy at this point. But for those of you that have not gone through so many different bad outcomes, I'm really talking to you. For those of you that need the therapy, ladies, I'm going to tell you, go get the therapy. You know, therapy in the black community has become like the most taboo thing in the world. And as a result, you continue having these situationships and situationships and situationships, or what's known to be seen all the time on social media. It's complicated. It's a situationship and it's complicated. But the complicated situation and the complicated person is usually you, ladies. You put yourselves in situations that give you the worst outcomes possible. It gives you so many bad outcomes because you don't have a clear idea of what it is that you want outside of wanting materialistic things. What do you want in terms of relationship? What do you really want? Not this short-term relationship nonsense. I'm talking about long-term, a relationship that can take you to the end of life. You know, those relationships that grandma, that pop had when they stayed together for 35, 45, and 50 years. I'm talking about those kind of relationships. Don't you want that? Or are you satisfied with these short-term situations? Or these short-term complicated relationships? Don't you want something solid? Don't you want something meaningful? Don't you want something that you can get to tell your story later as you graduate into old age? I know that's what I would love to see. I'm so tired, and I'm pretty sure you are too. I'm so tired, some of you are, I'm so sure you're tired of seeing the nonsense that we see outside when we look outside of our door. There is nothing that promotes what I'm talking about right now on no platform, not in movies, not in series, not anywhere. Nobody promotes family anymore. Nobody promotes meaningful relationship anymore. Everybody seems to be okay with situationships. meaningless situationships where there's a whole lot of romance, whole lot of sex, and no retention. No retention. So you go from one situationship to another situationship to the next situationship. How pointless is that? I mean, really, how pointless in the one life that all of us have to live? How pointless is that? Wouldn't it be better if we just learned to know what our roles are? Men are by nature created to be protectors and providers for their family. That's their job. And to build. You, ladies, your job is to be a helpmeet. Your job is to be there to serve your husband. You don't hear this kind of conversation being taught in no platform. Everything is about hot girl summer, hot boy summer. There's no conversation that's promoting us to be together for the long term when winter comes. When winter comes, and winter comes for all of us. Oh, make no mistake about it. Winter comes for all of us. I don't care how fine you are today. I don't care how good your shape looks. I don't care, brother, how big your muscles are today. No. I don't care how nice your waves are today, brother. I don't care how nice you look today. And ladies, I don't care how good your figure is today. I'll tell you something about winter. Winter will dissolve all of what you think makes you so special today. And then the reality of life will hit you like a train wreck. And you'll have to come to face with the reality of either dying by yourself or being with someone. And then you'll remember every situationship that you had. And you'll remember all the mileage that you put on yourself, ladies. And all of the drivers that drove your car, ladies. And you'll be left by yourself. Find out, come face to face with exactly what it is that you want. And be realistic so that your expectations will be within shooting range. You won't have unrealistic expectations. Like I've always said in previous streams, 85% of black men earn between $42,000 and $42,500. That means $41,000 to $42,500 a year, and that's at its lowest. There's some that make more, okay, but only 61% live in the middle class. I just want to give you some perspective, okay? The average black woman makes between, at its lowest, $27,000 a year. At its medium, $35,000, and at its highest, $40,000 a year. Now, of course, there's some that make more than all three of those that I said, but I want to get you in where you can put some realistic expectations on what I'm saying. If you can do that, in addition to understanding what it is that you actually want, getting yourself in position and understanding what your role is in the life of being a wife to any man, unless you intend to live by yourself. Maybe this stream is not for you. Maybe you have no desire to be in a relationship. And if that's your choice, that's okay. But if you choose to, if you desire to be in a productive, meaningful relationship, it's going to require you to understand the things that I just said. Situationships have not given us the results that we need in our community. It's given us a lot of children mothered by single parent homes. That's what it's done. A relationship requires more. Find out what it is that you want, ladies, and then ask yourself, situationships versus relationships, which one is real? Which one is real? And which one is going to give you the results that you say you want? Which one is going to give you those results? Because I know you're tired of this stupid dating situation where you have to keep asking yourself the question of, where's this relationship going? Does he like me? Does he love me? Does he want to be with me? Does he not want to be with me? You still asking questions. You ain't even met his mother yet, like I said earlier in the stream. You know, you ain't even met his family members yet. You haven't met the people he worked with yet. You barely know where he works. He pops up on you when he gets time, and you accept that. So, if you want more than that, if you want more than a situationship and you want a real relationship, I think we as a community have to get to the point where we understand what our roles are and what's going to get us the best results in terms of how and what we attract. You don't get what you want, you get who you are. And I'm going to end it with this, which is what I say in every stream. Ladies, without you getting triggered, I want you to listen to me. Are you fit? Are you feminine? Or have you become very masculine? Are you friendly? Are you easy to get along with? Are you and I said non-confrontational? Are you non-combative? Are you a good experience for a man? And if that's what you are, then you're a wife. You will attract what you are. You won't attract situationships if that's what you are. If you're not that, if you're the type of lady who looks for relationships only for what you can get from the relationship, meaning I can get a date, I can get food, I can get clothing, I can get some red bottom shoes, or I can get a pocketbook, or I can get my hair done. He can pay to get my nails done, or get my makeup done, or he can buy me a new outfit at the mall. See, ladies, those of you who think that way, you're in what's called serial situationships. You stay in situationships. So again, as I close, what's real? Situationships versus relationships. You ask yourself the question, which one is real? And which one would you prefer as an outcome for you going into the future as you age daily, weekly, monthly, yearly? What do you want to end up? And how do you see your life at 50 years old? For those of you that are younger than 50, how do you see your life at 50 and 55 years of age? Because it is coming. It's going to come, whether you like it or not. They have never made enough cosmetics, nor have they ever made enough makeup to change that. All of us will reach that point in age. You can't stop it. You can't slow it down. How do you see and where do you see your life at 50 and 55? Do you see your life still in situationships? Or do you see yourself in a real, meaningful relationship, i.e., marriage? Is that what you see? Situationships versus relationships, which one is real? That's a question you got to keep asking yourself. And with that being said, I am your host, Charles Chambliss of Let's Talk About It. I look forward to seeing you all on the stream again, coming this Friday. And again, I thank you all for getting on the stream. Shout out to Althea Marshall for getting on the stream. Hey, Althea, keep coming back. You know how far back we go, Althea. All right, we go back a long way. So keep going on, keep getting on the stream, and call your sister Alfreda to get on the stream too. Hey, thank you, folks, for getting on the stream tonight. I thank you. I appreciate you again. My name is Charles Chambliss. I'm your host of Let's Talk About It. Look forward to seeing you all. What is this? Look forward to seeing you all Wednesday night. Until then, Have a fantastic evening. God bless. Good night, folks.